I think it's so important for us to do our proper research too. And this is for everyone listening because, there are a lot of independent, consultants or personalities who will sell quote unquote coaching certifications. However, it's very important to understand that in the professional world, especially those of you all who want to go into corporate spaces, those quote unquote certifications don't hold their weight in water. And if you want to be truly certified as a coach, you need to, and if you want to leverage that, those credentials to go into corporate spaces, then you have to be ICF certified. All right.
Welcome to the Published and Paid podcast, where we share book, business, leadership, and life lessons in 20 minutes or less to help you build a thought leadership brand and business. My name is Jasminewomack. I'm a former middle school language arts teacher turned seven-figure entrepreneur, and I am glad that you are here. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of the Published and Paid podcast. And listen, for all of you all who want to write a book, to grow, monetize, sell your expertise, and if you are really serious about the professional coaching industry, you want to make sure that you tune into this episode all the way to the end. Because in today's episode, I'm bringing an expert executive coach, and I already know she's going to drop gems. So welcome, Sheila, to the virtual stage.
Thank you. So happy to be here with you.
Yes, I'm excited as well. So listen, I met Sheila at the Published and Paid live event probably about 2 years ago. And so, of course, in the room, I was coaching her on her book and some other endeavors. And she pulled me to the side and started speaking life to me, right? She started speaking life to me and calling me on the carpet in regards to some ways that I was playing small. So listen, introduce yourself to everyone. Let us know who you are, what you do, and all about your book.
Yes. And thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. Like Jasmine said, 2 years ago, I had this thing I was toying with for like the last 15 years, write a book, write a book, write a book. And one of my former clients actually said, you need to check out Jasmine because I noticed she had a book. And while sitting there, I thought, wow, it's time. It's time. Now is time. So it was reciprocated. The coaching was going back and forth. Just to introduce myself, I'm Sheila Carmichael. I consider myself an authentic leadership architect. I do the coaching and mentoring and consulting and things like that. But the reason I call myself a leadership architect is because similar to like a building engineering architect, I like understanding the purpose like architect does for the building. I want to understand that for the person. What is it that they want to do? What is it that's getting in the way of living their true values and their mission and their calling? And so I help them through my coaching and consulting to just really connect those dots and build their best, authentic, genuine leadership presence.
I love it.
That's where they're going to get the biggest impact. So that's Sheila.
Leadership presence. And then you went on, I know we worked together, and then you went on to write your book about presence. So tell us a little bit about presence. Like, why did you write it?
Yeah. Jasmine, I hate to admit it, but it's something I need to embrace and hold on to. 40 years of working within corporate environments. There were some really amazing leaders that always attracted my attention because of the way they poured into their people, their mission behind their objectives. And there was something unique each and every one had and brought to the table. And I think we all do that. And I can even go back to, in an early age of childhood, but I won't. But I mean, your presence isn't just the title that you're wearing, the role that you are owning and you say, this is what I want for the betterment of what you're trying to accomplish, whether it's in your businesses, your corporations, that just, every time I would coach and counsel or mentor folks, it was like, Sheila, when are you going to write a book? When are you going to write a book? When are you going to tell people about this practical way that they can help themselves to show up with their best external leadership presence, because they're really honing in on the stuff that needs to be done on the inside, because presence really is that inside job. That's why I wrote this. It's like, it's time. I've had enough nudges to say it's time to get it out and let folks know. And especially now, everyone's struggling with so much.
Yeah. Do you have your book? I see it on the background.
Yes, I do.
Self-coaching strategies to ignite your authentic leadership. So I know that you've been coaching executives, you've been coaching leaders. People kept asking you about when you were going to write this book, right? Now I've never met anyone who is as passionate about coaching as Sheila is. Like, she has not just a passion for it, but she has a calling, with it. And so where does this passion for coaching and mentoring executives come from?
Yeah, it's a great question. I wish I could say it was something that was a family legacy, maybe indirectly, definitely not directly. But because life has not always been the best at times, I would say, it's been amazing learning opportunities. There was someone always there in the village, whether a family member or in school or, at work, especially in the corporate environment, that would take me as if I was their coachee, so to speak, their student. And because of so much has been poured into me, that's where my mentoring and coaching passion comes from, because we can't do this alone. You need that other person there who's going to listen, hear what you're saying without judgment or evaluation of it, and really help you to tap into what's best for you. Not, here's what I think you need to do sort of things. There'll be some times to do that, but more so seeing what you're bringing to the table that you may not be aware of, that needs to come out a little stronger, that needs to be a little bit more forefront versus hiding.
Now, you are a credentialed coach, right? Like you have your certification. So I'm going to ask you this because a lot of people in the online space are quick to call themselves a coach. So, I think you know where I'm going with this. What are your thoughts about that? And how is what you do different from, the Joe Blow on the internet and what they do?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a really good question. So here's my take on it. Even when I started out coaching, I thought I was coaching, but I wasn't. And coaching at the time did not have as much understanding or competencies laid out or anything around it. It's not a regulated industry, right? Mm-hmm. So right. Everybody says, hey, I'm a coach. And most people think of coaching as like the athletic coach, where, you see someone on the field. I've been an athletic coach for folks, right? I've been the basketball coach. So I get that. But when you find out the International Coaching Federation, and there's a couple of other associations that are on the horizon too, but that's the one that really says, hey, we're going to try to put some parameters into this. We're going to put some guidelines into this. We're going to set this up in a way that people understand there are levels of coaching skills and experiences and capabilities. We're even going to include a code of ethics. We're going to include a process for people to get what we call are the standards of coaching. I'm not discounting that someone had an experience and they want to pay that forward to others. That's great. I did it too, right? I did it too. But it wasn't really coaching. It didn't give me the skills and the understanding of what this discipline really is. And once I started with my training journey, Jasmine, I was like, oh my God, I wasn't coaching. Mm-hmm. I was mentoring. I was advising. I was, consulting, but I was not really coaching. And so I would encourage anyone who is hanging that sign, that shingle on their door virtually or physically that says, "Hey, I'm a coach." I want to encourage you to go to the International Coaching Federation site. I want you to look down at the bottom. It's got a link for the core competencies. And they even have coaching institutions and training programs that they have accredited that align to the standards of coaching that they have outlined. And it wasn't just one person in a box doing this. These are committees around the world who have developed these competencies and skills and behaviors of what is truly real coaching. So I would encourage them to do that. I think if you don't and you just say, "Hey, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and I don't even want to care about what the standards are in the coaching industry," you may do extremely well. There are people, as you and I know, that are doing fantastic. I think there's a high risk involved with that because there's a difference between coaching, mentoring, counseling, or therapy.
Yes.
And the ICF helps you with understanding where those fine lines are so that you can ensure, even if you're calling yourself a coach, that you're at least practicing what is noted as coaching competencies and behaviors.
Yes. And I think it's so important for us to do our proper research too. And this is for everyone listening because, there are a lot of independent, consultants or personalities who will sell quote unquote coaching certifications. However, it's very important to understand that in the professional world, especially those of you all who want to go into corporate spaces, those quote unquote certifications don't hold their weight in water. And if you want to be truly certified as a coach, you need to, and if you want to leverage that, those credentials to go into corporate spaces, then you have to be ICF certified. All right. It's important to know this. A lot of people don't know this because you'll see an ad from a personality about their company's coaching certification. And let me tell you all something, because I've been preparing to do my own certifications around writing, self-publishing. And I'm asking people, I've been doing, y'all know I'm in my doctoral journey. So I'm doing a lot of research, right? And I'm asking people, what did you do? Who did you learn from? What type of standards did you have to create their certification program? Mm-hmm. And out of the people that I've been interviewing and asking, do you all know what the answer was? Oh, none. We made it up ourselves. Now we have standards and processes in place, but I'm telling you this because I want you all to know. You might go to such and such for this certification that they made up and then think that you can take that coaching certification into a professional corporate space and then wonder why. Y'all, it's no different than the people who have the honorary doctorates that were sent to them through the DM. They will not hold their weight in water in the professional space. They won't. And so, what Sheila's done in Presence is take those corporate coaching, strategies, and she's talking about them and expressing those and explaining those, in her book Presence, right? Which I think is so profound because you're talking about self-leadership for leaders, because before you lead anyone, you have to lead yourself. So let's talk about your book a bit. Like, what was your biggest breakthrough through your writing process?
This is just my encouragement to others. When you feel that calling to write your book, make sure you lock it down very hard. Because for me, what happened? I was writing it, and as I was going through the different manuscripts and rereading the drafts and everything, it's funny how life is like, oh, so you think you're an expert? Let me see if you let's see if you practice what you preach. And so you start having to really go even deeper in what you're calling into your book. And it challenges you to even level it up in a way. And I got to a point where I was like, the first time I said, wow, this is good. The second time I was like, ooh, am I doing this all too? And I'm checking myself against it until finally you get to the point where you go, yes, this is it. And so I would just encourage anyone that's going to say, yeah, I want to write a book, be clear about what it is you want to write about. And sure, I mean, Jasmine, you said coaching is my passion. It absolutely is. So make sure that it is a passion for you. It is something that's going to push you through, that when you have to go through all the areas around it. And here's just the last little gem I'll drop is around that is you are human. So try not to overthink and over critique what you're putting out there. A lot of times people are writing books, and I've had clients actually, saying things that they're trying to do to appease others. I've been guilty of it myself several times. And it's reminding yourself, okay, what's really behind this? What's the purpose? So try not to let that inner critic jump in too hard. It's there for a reason, but maybe put a boundary on it. Like, is it serving you well in that moment? Because if it's not, now you got a choice to make.
Yeah. So what do you feel was the biggest challenge that you encountered during your writing process, and how did you overcome it?
Okay, Jasmine, I'm just going to get real now. I'm going to get real. So I found out about Jasmine and I didn't go with Jasmine. Mistake number one. I'm just owning my mistake. Okay. But then I circled back to Jasmine, and I'm going to tell you, she is absolutely right. There are people who will put and broadcast things and sell you the hype. And I know we all know this phrase, all that is gold, all that glitters is not gold. And it had a whole lot of glitter on it, a whole lot. And I thought it was legit glitter. That's the thing. When you think it's legit glitter, had a whole lot of hype and a whole lot of glitter. It wasn't even silver plated gold. And you don't find that out until after you get into the process. And so what I would tell everyone, I've gone through and spent an enormous amount of money in an area that I could have easily saved. Because if you're going to do it right, you want to have it done with certain things. And I know your program does that. So I'm so grateful for you and your resources and your support to help me with okay, no problem, Sheila, it happens. We're going to turn this around and get it back in place. So definitely, it just goes back to what you said earlier, that credentialing thing, making sure that this is something that that the process that you're going through is helping you to tap into you versus just a benefit for them.
Absolutely. Now, for everyone, all of our LinkedIn lovers here, listen, Sheila is piping hot on LinkedIn, okay? And so how did your book help motivate or help, what should we say, help spur your content creation for LinkedIn? And what
yeah, I mean, it just clarifies everything for you. And coming from a corporate environment, there's already a lot of criticism and things going on, people evaluating, and always has an opinion, right? But what this did was helped me to keep focus with what I wanted my messaging to be. So it's another value of having your book. It really keeps you in line with your own alignment back to you. So now my messages are clearer. I'm just not, throwing something out there just as a post. It's tying back to my purpose of wanting everybody to consider their presence as an inside job. And here are some things to help you with that. And because we're so complex as a human and dealing with so many complexities in the world, how do we ensure that what we want for ourselves is the way that we're allowing others to experience that with us? So it really does help you stay focused. It does elevate your brand. I'm not going to lie. When I would reach out to people prior to the book, I did not get as much responses as even today. I've reached out to folks that prior to the book wouldn't even respond. And now I send a simple note, hey, would love to connect. And immediately, instant connection, and not just a virtual connection, but I mean taking it further to wanting to have a conversation and build a relationship. It has definitely elevated my brand.
So good. So good. And so good. So listen, for those of you all who are in the coaching space or you want to be, or you are in leadership or in executive positions, listen, I strongly suggest that you purchase a copy of Sheila's book, Presence, Self-Coaching Strategies, and make sure that you follow her on LinkedIn. So listen, how can everyone find you? Where can we purchase a copy of your book? And, if you have any resources for our listeners, let us know all about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So definitely, first and foremost, I'm more of a LinkedIn person than Facebook and Instagram and others, because that's just where I've been. I was with LinkedIn when it was in beta mode. So, okay, that's why I love it so much. So LinkedIn, definitely, if you send me a request, I will most likely accept. I have not rejected any exceptions. I also have a website, SheilaCarmichael.com. You can purchase the book from there. It's in the ebook format. It gives you the link also to Amazon, or you can go directly to Amazon. On the site, well, first, let me tell you, in the book, as an incentive, there is a QR code that will allow you to receive a free gift. And it's something that's going to help you with understanding your own values and your purpose as you're walking through the activities that are in the book. So I highly recommend you get it, even if it's just for that. In addition, on my website, there is another option. There's a free, just some quick 5 strategies to help with your authentic presence. And I call it the 3D Authentic Presence Strategies worksheet. It's just something to help you just keep alongside of you as a reference point. And I've actually just finished publishing on my site a 7-day presence journal. Now, this one goes even deeper. So this is not for the faint of heart. Okay. This isn't a regular journal where you're just going to check off a box and put a little happy face. Okay. This is going to have you sit with yourself, do some reflection, some introspection, and really hold yourself accountable to what you want. And I do it in 7 days. It kind of takes what the book gives you and it pulls it in for you to have practical strategies. These are your strategies. I'm helping you formulate your best success formula for you to show up and be the best person that you want to be.
Love it, love it, love it. And so we can just get all of that off of your website, correct?
All on the website.
All right, SheilaCarmichael.com, and make sure that you connect with Sheila on LinkedIn. That's her playground. So thank you so much, Sheila, for coming on. Everyone, if you found value in this episode, make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you share. And until next time, peace, love, and impact.